I have $3.2 million in the bank. And 3 times a week, I sit in a vinyl chair while a machine does the job my own body used to handle without asking for applause. That's not a metaphor. It's not dramatic language. It's a schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 4 hours at a time. Tubes. Filters. A clock that moves slower than it ever did in my office. I'm not telling you this to get sympathy. I don't need it. I built a good life. I made smart investments. I understood leverage, risk, timing. I negotiated million-dollar deals without breaking a sweat. But here's the part that should bother you. The worst part. It didn't cost much to prevent. Not millions. Not some experimental treatment. It would have cost me walks I skipped, drinks I didn't need, checkups I postponed because I felt fine. I have the money now. What I don't have is a rewind button, and that's a terrible trade. My name is Richard Hayes. I built my career in commercial real estate, closed my first 6-figure deal at 30, corner office before 40. By 50, I could walk into a negotiation and understand leverage, timing, and return on investment without blinking. I also understood family. I coached Little League. I showed up for school plays, even the awkward ones. My wife Karen and I raised 2 kids who still call. My son Daniel works in Atlanta. My daughter Claire lives nearby with her husband and their little girl Lily, who thinks I can fix anything. That matters. Because this isn't the story of a man who missed his life chasing money. I was present. I showed up. What I didn't show up for was myself. I inspected properties better than I inspected my own health. I reviewed contracts line by line, but treated my body like it would appreciate on its own. It doesn't. If you're disciplined in business or family, ask yourself, are you that disciplined with your health? It didn't feel like destruction. It felt like Thursday. That's the part nobody warns you about. There was no accident, no ambulance, no dramatic collapse in a boardroom, just dinner that was heavier than it needed to be, a glass of bourbon to take the edge off. Then another, because the first one went down easy. I told myself I earned it. I worked hard. I provided. I showed up. Skipping a walk didn't feel reckless. It felt efficient. I'd say I was tired. I'd say I'd start Monday. Monday became next month. Next month became next year. And nothing terrible happened. That's how it works. You don't ruin yourself in one decision. You do it in thousands of small ones that feel harmless. One extra plate, one more drink, one more night on the couch. Individually, they are nothing. Stacked over decades, they become something. Patterns don't shout. They accumulate. And by the time you notice the weight of them, they've already reshaped your future. When I was 41, my doctor leaned back in his chair and said, "Richard, you're trending pre-diabetic. Your numbers are climbing." He wasn't dramatic. No raised voice. No alarm bells. Just calm clinical concern. My A1C was a little high, not catastrophic, just elevated. My blood pressure needed 1 medication, then 2, then a higher dose. Each appointment sounded the same. We should address this now. And every time I gave the same answer. I'll get to it. I said it like I was postponing a landscaping project, like it was something I could schedule when business slowed down. The numbers inched upward year after year, 6.1 to 6.7, 7.2. Nothing exploded, nothing collapsed. That's what fooled me. It wasn't dramatic, it was gradual, quiet. measurable in decimals and prescriptions. 15 years passed that way. No emergency room, no sirens, just slow progression, appointment after appointment, where I nodded, promised change, and walked out exactly the same. Neglect doesn't always look reckless. Sometimes it looks responsible and busy. The shift didn't happen overnight. There wasn't a single day where someone said, "This is it." It was stages, numbers, terms I didn't fully respect until they applied to me. Stage 2, manageable. Stage 3, concerning. Stage 4, serious. By the time it became stage 5, management was no longer the conversation. Now it's 3 times a week, 4 hours each session. I know the rhythm of the machine better than I know the stock market. I can tell you exactly how long 4 hours feels when you're sitting still, watching your own blood circulate outside your body. Do the math. That's 624 hours a year, 26 full days, a month of my life, every year, spent in a chair. That's what neglect costs. Not in theory, not in fear, in time. Quantified regret is different. You can measure it, you can schedule it, you can't buy it back. It wasn't the machine that broke me. It was a puddle. Lily was 2. Small boots, yellow raincoat, the kind with little ducks on it. It had rained all afternoon, and the driveway was dotted with shallow pools of water. She looked at me like I was still the strongest man she knew. "Grandpa, you do it." She wanted me to jump first, to splash, to make it safe. I smiled. I stepped forward, and then I hesitated, because I knew something she didn't. If I bent down too far, I might not get back up without help. If I jumped, my knees would protest in a way that wasn't temporary anymore. My balance wasn't what it used to be. My strength wasn't reliable. So I told her to go ahead. I stood there and watched. That's when it hit me. Success didn't take this from me. Age didn't take this from me. Accumulation did. Not money, habits, and standing on dry pavement while your granddaughter waits for you to move. That's a different kind of regret. In real estate, we have a rule. Deferred maintenance costs 10 times more. You ignore a small leak, and you pay for mold. You delay replacing a roof, and you buy new drywall, new wiring, new everything. The damage doesn't stay in one place. It spreads. Quietly, expensively. I knew that. I preached that. I kept my buildings maintained. Inspections on schedule. Repairs before they became disasters. I protected my assets like my life depended on them. But I didn't treat my body like property. I treated it like it was permanent. I postponed the basics: sleep, movement, checkups. I let small warnings become big problems because I was busy, because I was fine, because I assumed I could catch up later. You can't always catch up later. Here's the truth that hurts. Your body is the only property you will never sell. You can refinance a building. You can flip a house. You can walk away from a bad investment. You can't walk away from yourself. So if you're delaying the small repairs, don't call it harmless. It's just deferred maintenance on the one asset you need to last. Here's what $3.2 million can't do. It can't rewind damage once it's been layered in for years. It can't buy back the mornings you spent too busy to move. It can't negotiate with your body the way you negotiate a contract. Money is powerful in the world. It is not powerful inside your organs. That's the part nobody wants to believe until they're sitting in the chair, staring at a clock that doesn't care how successful you were. So, I'll say it plainly. You are either maintaining your body or you are letting it decay. There isn't a third option. There is only maintenance or deferred maintenance, and you don't need a dramatic overhaul to start. You need one decision you can repeat. Walk for 20 minutes today. Book a routine checkup if you've been delaying it. Change one habit you've been excusing. Small repairs done consistently are what protect the only asset you can't replace. I spent most of my life believing that if I worked hard enough, earned enough, saved enough, I could secure the future. That's what money promises: security, options, flexibility. And in many ways, it delivered. I can book first-class flights. I can pay for specialists. I can write checks without flinching. I can solve almost any external problem with a transfer and a signature. But there is one thing sitting outside the reach of every dollar I own: time. Not tomorrow's time, not next week's schedule, a decade. I cannot buy back the 10 years I traded for convenience. I cannot purchase a fresh set of healthy habits and apply them retroactively. I cannot negotiate with my body the way I negotiated with tenants. I can afford anything now except another decade. And that's the quiet truth I want you to hear before you reach my age. Money multiplies. Time does not.